So today we're going to be going over the properties of exponents. So the first two rules we're going to be going over are the product and quotient of a power. So the product of a power is simply when you are multiplying two variables with the same base, you will add the exponents. So for example, in example 1 here, your bases are A, B, A and B are your bases. Our exponents are those numbers in the top right of each of those variables. So 3, 2, and 2 are all our exponents. Now when you multiply them, we can only combine like variables. So for example, if I'm multiplying a to the third times a squared or times b squared times a squared, that's the same thing as saying a to the third times a squared times b squared. And when we do this, we just add the exponents. So a to the third times a to the second becomes a to the fifth times b squared for your answer there. Next up, we have x to the negative third times y to the fifth times x to the seventh times y to the ninth. Now for this example, again, we add the exponents for the x's and you add the exponents for the y's. So it's x to the negative third times x to the seventh times y to the fifth times y to the ninth. Now, when we add these together, negative 3 plus 7, well, that's going to become positive 4. 5 plus 9, nice and easy, that's going to become y to the 14th. So that's for product of a power. Let's take a look at quotient of a power now. So here, quotient of a power is when we are dividing numbers with the same base. So here we have a to the 11th times b to the 4th all over a to the 3rd, b to the 6th. Now with quotient of a power, multiplication is to adding exponents as dividing is to subtracting exponents. So here we are subtracting 11 minus 3. So this becomes a to the 11 minus 3 power. And then here you have 4 minus 6. And when it comes to dividing, I always like to think about which one is my bigger exponent and which one is my smaller exponent. Well, 6 is bigger than 4, so I can do 6 minus 4, and I'm going to get 2, but that's going to be on the bottom now because 6 is greater than 4. So a to the 11 minus 3 becomes a to the 7th. B to the 6 minus 4 is b to the 2nd. Excuse me. Another way you can see this is, let's just take a look at b to the 4th over b to the 6th. If I were to multiply b by itself 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's up top, and then 6 times on the bottom, I can cancel b's out. If one's on top and another's on the bottom, you can cancel them out, just like so. And I'm left with 2 on the bottom, just like I have there. So let's take a look at one more example of these. So for example 4, we have x to the 5th times y to the 3rd all over x to the 12th, y to the 8th. So again here, very similar to example 3, where you always want to take the bigger exponent and subtract it from the smaller exponent. So here, for the x's, it's 12 minus 5, but that's going on the bottom because 12 is greater than 5. So we end up with x to the 7 down there. Y to the 8th underneath y to the 3rd. That means we are doing 8 minus 3. We get 5, but that is on the bottom. Now, we don't have anything left up top. And when that happens with fractions, we always use 1 as our placeholder up there. So our final answer for example 4 here is 1 over x to the 7th y to the 5th.